Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Ink and Impact. Okay. Now, I do want to apologize for my volume and my voice not being hearable on the last episode. Forgive me. This is me just learning through this. So, as we get through this episode here today for episode 4, I want to touch bases on parables and metaphors. Now, are they the same? That's the question, right? So, this is another episode of Ink and Impact. Today, we're diving into something that lives at our heart of how we understand God's Word, parables and metaphors. Now, what are they really, right? At a first glance, a metaphor and a parable might seem like the same. In some ways they are, but understand, both paint pictures, both deliver meaning in deeper form. But here's the key. A metaphor helps make sense of something through comparison. A parable carries revelation. It holds a key, but not everyone can open the door. Now, a parable, a message for those with ears to hear. A parable is like a secret garden, a space that only certain people are invited into. Not because they're better, but because they're ready. It's like a private club God lets you into once your heart is tuned in to receive. Jesus made this clear in Matthew 13. Which is exactly what we've been studying lately in Bible study. And if you haven't been attending church or you've been thinking about reconnecting, I'd love to invite you to visit Revealing God's Word, church here in Houston, with Pastor Frank Green. We meet in person and online. If you check out my Instagram, you'll see all the info pinned at the top of the page. We meet for Bible study every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And you can join virtually and dig into what we've been learning as well, especially Matthew 13, the deep purpose of what parables are. And he asks questions, and if we are understanding as well, this is not about just getting it over and done. We want to make sure that everyone is understanding, and that's the goal, to trying to build that relationship. If you don't understand what it is and why you need the relationship, then you're probably not going to want to be able to build that relationship. So I hope to see you there. Now, living out the word, not just reading it. That's the next. So here's the thing. Metaphors are something you live those out, you know? You write them in affirmations, you apply them to your story, but parables, those are spirit-led. You don't just apply them, you receive them. So, you've probably noticed that when God speaks to his children, his seeds, his lilies, he often wraps wisdom in those stories. These are just stories to entertain. These aren't just stories to entertain. Let me rephrase. They're stories to unlock the understanding. But not everyone will get it. Some will hear it and walk away. Others, the weeds, might try to choke it out. But those of us who are listening, we know this word isn't just for show. It's our foundation. The thing that we have to understand and grasp. Once we've gotten it, it's like there's no way that you can shake it. Now, ink, impact, and the word. You know what I always say? We don't live by bread alone. Matthew 4:4 tells us we live by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. That means our focus can't just be on what feeds the flesh, the money, the hustle, the routine. It has to be the word on what he's saying daily. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be perfect and trying to understand this But we do need a balance to understand where he's coming from when it comes down to focus. Okay? You focus on your money. You focus on that routine. You focus on that hustle. Bring him into that focus. And yes, that includes the parts we don't always understand the first time around. Read it again and again and again. That's literally what my relationship was with him in the first part of me understanding. This was back in 2018 or 19, when I was just writing questions. I didn't even understand what I was writing, but I knew that it was going directly to him for me to grasp that later. And I think I got it. Now, your challenge this week. Tonight, I want you to sit with Matthew 13. Just read it. If it doesn't hit the first time, read it again. If you feel like you don't get it, ask God to reveal it. This isn't about me forcing you to do anything. It's about you deciding that your relationship with God deserves your time, not for the approval of others, not for performance, but for intimacy, for alignment, for peace. And I'll leave you with something personal. Another one of my favorite verses. Song of Songs 5:13. His cheeks are like gardens of spices, giving off fragrance. His lips are like lilies, perfumed with myrrh. That's us, lilies. A parable from him, a metaphor for us. That's wonderful, right? Together they paint the perfect picture of love, identity, and grace. Thank you for listening, you guys, to Ink and Impact. And remember, whether you're reading, writing, or praying, make sure you're putting the ink to action every single day. Pen it, pray it, and live it. Until next time, lilies, make your mark, okay? If today's message brought you any kind of clarity, encouragement, or spiritual direction, or if you just want to learn more about me, feel free to connect. I am Jasmine, but you can follow my personal journey on Instagram at Takara J. That's my middle name. That's spelled TAKARAAJ. And if you're inspired by what I create, you can also find me and all things iLily on Instagram and TikTok and my website and on Facebook at ililyinc.com. iLily Inc. on Facebook and on TikTok and Instagram. Whether it's Facebook, Threads, or wherever you're plugged in, just search iLily Inc., okay? You'll find me. But thank you for tuning in, and until next time, stay rooted, stay blooming. Love always, lilies.